Hey, what's up? It's William Christopher Ford. Today we've got a really special treat. I caught up with my old buddy Sean Kanan. How are you, my
Chris,
brother?
good to see you.
So we met 30 years ago on Karate Kid 3, and
It's another lifetime.
I
It?
know, and
It doesn't. It doesn't. You know.
And here we are, 30 years later. We've both done a ton of stuff in our respective fields. And Sean actually wrote a book with Jill Lieberman called Success Factor X, and we're going to talk about it because it's pretty cool. So, tell us about the book, sir.
So, what Jill Lieberman and I did was we went out to 50 people, actually 48 because Jill and I are two of them. We went out to 48 really interesting, really diverse, unique people, and we said, what is the absolute best advice that you have about success?
Okay.
And we got this really crazy eclectic group. We got people like Mark Cuban and Anthony Robbins, who you think about as success gurus and very successful businessmen. And then we got people in completely different fields. We got Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC. We got baseball players and football players. Sarah Blakely, the first female billionaire. And we asked them what their best advice about success was, or the best advice that they'd ever been given. And it was really interesting, some of the responses that we got. None of the participants, almost to an individual, described success in terms of external trappings, power, money. These are all people who have a lot of it. But they really talked about it in terms of being able to inspire other people, being able to lead the life that you want to lead, and make your dreams come true. That to them was success. Not so much what other people in the media and Madison Avenue and E-Entertainment says success should be, but really things that are a little bit deeper. And this was for me was an incredible learning experience putting this book together. So very proud of it.
Well, how did you guys come up with the idea? What inspired you to say, hey, let's write a book?
So Jill and I met about 15 years ago. Jill wrote a book called American Pride. And in the book, it was a coffee table book. She asked a lot of different celebrities what America meant to them, and I was one of the participants. And smash cut, like 15 years later, Jill called me to wish me a happy birthday, and by the time we hung up the phone, we were writing partners embarking on this new book.
Okay, how long has it taken from conception to?
It's taken about a year. It's taken about a year, which I guess in the big scheme of things isn't really that long of a time frame to put a book together, but a lot of moving parts when you're dealing with that many different people.
Sure. Yeah. Because you didn't actually, it would have been amazing if, you'd met with all of them in person and did an interview, but basically it was through email, and they basically filled out a form and gave you the information you needed.
That's basically right. I've worked in Hollywood for 30 years. Jill has worked in various aspects of the entertainment business, so we know a lot of people, and we're able to reach out to them. But you're dealing with people that are very successful, very busy, and so the easiest way to do this was we reached out, communicated through email, and people submitted their testimonials, and we put this together almost exclusively without meeting with any of our participants.
That is amazing.
Right?
And people were pretty like, yeah, this is cool, man. So
yeah, we got almost across the board, we got a unanimously positive response. The only issues we had with attempting to get some people that we couldn't, simply just scheduling and inability to get access because of their schedules. But we're really happy with the people we got. We just think it's such a cool, diverse group. I think that everybody who's going to read this is going to be able to identify with one of the participants, if not more, and gain something of some real value from it.
Well, me coming from a martial arts background, I was happy to hear that Sensei Fumio Demura, who, I hold in the highest regard as the karate master, the epitome of a karate master. He's in the book. MMA fighter Frank Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, right? And he was a beast, and so it's like, wow, Ken Shamrock. And then
Pat Johnson.
Pat Johnson, right? That piqued my interest because these are people that I'm interested in. But then you've got people like, Derek McDaniels from Run DMC, and then, Antonio Sabato and these other people, and you're going, wow, how'd you get all these different people with, different philosophical backgrounds, you're a different,
and experiential backgrounds.
Yes,
too.
Exactly. And that's what's amazing.
It's funny you say that. We talk about experiential backgrounds. All of these people have achieved success in their chosen fields, but many of them come from different fields. A lot of them are from entertainment, and a lot of them are from sports. And my acting teacher, Roy London, used to say something which I thought was really interesting and profound. He said, I have more in common with a successful plumber than I do with an unsuccessful acting teacher. And what that means is that success leaves clues, which Anthony Robbins says. Yeah. The very steps generally that it takes to become successful in any field tend to repeat themselves no matter what the field is. Sure. It's tenacity, discipline, setting benchmarks. I mean, all sorts of different things that it almost doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're going to be successful, there's certain things that you have to achieve along the way.
Sure.
So that always resonated with me.
And that's probably like you'll start to see some common threads in all these stories where you say, oh, there it is again, there it is again.
That's the interesting thing is you see these common threads and you start thinking to yourself, gee, maybe there's something here. If all of these people who are so very, very successful are all doing certain of the same things, maybe it's something I had to take a look at. I'll tell you something that I've recently started doing at age 52, which I wish I would have done it when I was, 18. I read a really interesting book called The Morning Miracle by a guy named Hal Elrod. And he talks about how getting up early in the morning, and going through a series of, he calls them savers. So the savers are comprised of, the first is sitting in conscious silence, really just sort of centering yourself for the day. The next is A, affirmations. The next is V, visualization, visualizing your day. E is for exercise, R is for reading, and S is for scribing or writing. And I've been doing this, getting up every day as I've been promoting the book and preparing 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And it's amazing how doing that changes the complete trajectory of your day. I've taken things that I've learned from our participants, and they're having an incredibly positive impact on my life right now, and I want to pass that along to everybody else. We talked about this earlier. You asked me what one of the reasons why we put this book together was. We are living in such an incredibly divisive society right now, divisive and divided.
Sure.
And I wanted to come up with something. Jill and I wanted to come up with something that would act as a bridge or a conduit, something that would be unifying as opposed to separating.
Yes.
And I think we can all agree that everybody's invested in success. We want it for ourselves. We want it for our loved ones, for our children. And being successful, I think, is one of maybe 4 or 5 of the pillars that construct a happy life. I mean, you want your health.
Sure.
You want to feel a sense of connection with the people that you love. You want a sense of connection, call it your dharma, whatever, with your chosen field, and achieving a sense of success. And those are all things that I think, among some others, that lead to a happy life. And so I figured, this is something that really, we're not going to find anybody who hopefully is going to say, gee, what a horrible idea to come up with a book about success.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe this is the book that everybody needs right now.
I think so. You've been. I've known you for 30 years. I met you on Karate Kid. But what kind of advice would you give to, let's say, some of the actors out there? I mean, as a life lesson. Not just in their careers. But what would you say to people? Like, maybe it's the advice that you give in your book, but what just right here.
I think I'll answer it in 2 ways. The first being, if it was somebody who was really interested in acting, I would say make sure that you really, really want to do it with all of your heart and all of your soul, because there's so many other ways to have a successful life, and it really is a difficult path. It's fraught with a lot of rejection. It's fraught with a lot of, psychological obstacles. But that being said, if it's something that you really want to do, don't let anybody tell you no, and pursue it with reckless abandon. As far as giving some advice to everybody, not specific to acting, I would have to say the best advice and the best lesson that I've learned is really to just get in touch with your authentic self, really to just be who you are. and live that life honestly, and know that you're enough. Walking into the room, know that you're enough. Always remain the student. I think that's something that you do brilliantly, as a sensei. And for me, to try and inspire other people, to try and help them become their best version of themselves. And, at 52, I'm still working on that myself. Yeah. But I like to think that every day I get a little closer to it.
How do people get the book?
That's an important question.
It is an important question.
I
know how to get it.
Right now the book is available for pre-sale on Amazon.
Okay.
So you just go to Amazon, put Success Factor X in, and it would be fantastic if people would purchase it now, because all of the pre-sale purchases go towards the first week the book comes out to becoming a bestseller, and we're trying to make that happen. The book will be available nationwide on May 15th. Yeah. We're going to be doing book signings across the country. So that's the best way to do it. And I hope that if any of your viewers are in the area where we're doing a book signing, they'll come out and they'll come say hi and stop by and talk for a few minutes.
Well, you've still got a pretty big fan base, and then, I've got some people in the martial arts, and there's even if you're not a martial artist, this is going to be a great book. Help me out by helping my buddy Sean out by pre-ordering the book, because I'm going to do that. And let's support him when the book comes out. We'll go and see you and have our book signed, and maybe even get a picture with you and all that good stuff.
Anything you want.
You know what? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for being with me today. Really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be really successful, and I think it's going to do well.
Fingers crossed.
So there you go. So thank you so much for watching. Once again, it's William Christopher Ford with my good friend Sean Kanan.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, brother. We'll see you next time.